Question 5. The question is a good one, actually. It's a ripper. At what point can I stop using food as a reward for my dog during training? A couple of answers to that. One you'll get from people, oh, your dog should respect you. You should never refuse food. Wrong. I'd rather my Rottweiler want to do it for me than have to do it for me. The other answer might be, I've heard, I use it until they're 1 year old and then that's that. Not a bad idea, but not always great. Beyond that, for me, never, unless my dog wants to. So it's very dog dependent. Some dogs from day one actually don't have a great lot of food drive. They might be fussy. With your Rotties, you might find 4% are fussy when it comes to food. They'll be fussy on the stuff you give them every day, maybe on occasion, but treat-wise, or I hate the word treat, reward-wise, there is that many options out there that I can promise you I will find something that your Rottweiler will work for. Generally, they like their food. Then you get the dogs that are too food driven. So on the odd occasion, you may have to use just kibble or lesser value, because if you go using your Prime 100 or your flaked chicken or any of your liver treats, they get too crazy and they can't focus on what they're doing. Which brings me to the swapping over of ball drive. So I'll bring up my two dogs. Both dogs have good food drive. Zala is a pig. She'll jump to the moon and back if she thinks she's even going to get a bean sprout. She's just foodie, right? Keeve, on the other hand, isn't. He's very food driven for his rewards that he has been used to, such as Prime 100. That's all I really use. The odd canine natural freeze-dried tripe, he'll work for that. He'll work for most things, but he won't work for kibble and stuff like that. I could make that happen. I could make that happen. You can increase food drive by the whole idea of this existential feeding, which means that they have to earn everything that they eat. I believe in that. That's a good system, okay? I don't believe in that for pet people unless you're having problems. My dogs, I don't existentially feed. They are ball fed, but that goes up and down. So, for example, if I'm tracking in the morning, Keeve has to earn that breakfast. He doesn't get breakfast and then go tracking because there's less motivation to track. Same amount of food though, just maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours or so later. Keeve, I'm trying to swap, because obviously you've got to get rid of food if you're going to trial being a dog competition sort of thing. So then you need to try to, obviously what people get stuck on is constantly luring and constantly bribing your dog with food. That's the ugly side. What does that mean? That means your dog won't do anything for you unless you've got food, and that's not good. That's not respectful, nor has the dog actually learnt the task or had the desire to learn the task. They just know how to manipulate you to get the food. I've got a few in my class that level 2s, be warned, we're going to start removing lures. I want to start to see good behaviour without the food on the nose, because now you're not luring, you're bribing. And there's a very, very big difference between luring and bribing. I lure to teach a new task. So even right now, Zala is 7 years old. If I needed to teach her to do something for the first time, I would lure her. I would show her. Yeah, lure, show, yes, take the photo, pay, right? But if it's something that they know, which you all need to step over this bridge, guys. If it's something that I know that they know, I don't lure it, I reward it. What does that mean? I no longer go, sit, with my food. I go, sit, yes, pay. Okay? Instead of, lure, 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 sit, yes, pay. No, if I know the dog knows sit, then there's no lure, it's just a normal lead, sit, or signal, sit, yes, pay. All right, be mindful of not bribing, especially my level 2s. Level 1s, you're still in the learning process. That goes for all of my dogs, because they do need to respect your command and what you've asked them to do, and you don't always have food. So swapping to a ball, interestingly enough, can go both ways. I'm half with Keeve. He gets the ball to bring up his energy, to bring up his drive, which is pretty good for a Roddy, but sometimes you just need that little bit of extra motivation or extra energy. So in which case I'll bring a ball out. And that'll only work for X amount of times before he starts to get all ugly and go on weird angles and forge and crowd, because now he's no longer actually interested in the task or completing the task correctly. He's only interested in getting that ball. So when I realise with any dog, if you realise they're not actually stopping and wanting to learn to earn the ball, they're just going, where's the ball, where's the ball, I don't care, do I sit, do I down, where's the ball? Then the ball's too high. And so it's too high of a reward, and you need to drop it back down to food for a bit, bring the ball back out. When they're doing well, they get the ball. When they go, wah, the ball goes away, we go back to food. So it's a bit of a dance, guys. It goes backwards and forwards. It's very, very dog dependent as well. Zala would jump to the moon and back for a bean sprout. Keeve, he wouldn't eat it if you gold plated it. So, yeah, it really is dog dependent. I have heard quite a few things. You should never food train your dog because your dog doesn't respect you. No, but I want my dog to want to do it for me, not have to do it for me. That's my personal view. You can have yours. My other personal view is if I did a 38-hour week or even a 6-hour shift and the boss said, you were amazing. Thank you so much. Super dog. Lovely dog. Bye. No money? Ever? Am I going to turn up on Monday next week? That's a hell no. No. So why should they work for free, right? And then that comes back to work versus bribe versus reward versus pay. All interlinks. So be mindful not to be bribing, because then you do have that. But if they're working, you pay for it. Just like you pay a contractor, I guess. That's my view on that. My view on shoving food down dogs' throats when they haven't actually earned it or done anything for it drives me insane. They're not actually going to rate it to learn, and they're actually just being spoilt brats. And then they start sitting there going, expecting food. No, mate, come on. So be mindful that you're not over-rewarding as well. You can't over-reward if the work is there. But if there's no work there, I'm not going to bribe my dog just to sit there because I'm talking to somebody. Doesn't work like that. You sit there nicely while I talk to somebody, and then I'll pay you for it after you've finished your job. So yeah, food for thought. Another option that I've heard quite a few older trainers sort of say is first year, we use food for the first year, then we take it off. I don't think you can put a time on it. Your dog's ready when your dog's ready. When it comes to healing, always never be afraid to go back to a bit of a lure, right? Healing is probably the one thing that's hard. As far as other sort of pet tasks go, never, ever do I not pay for a recall or a give or a emergency down, because those three things are life-saving. Now, if I suddenly stop paying for those, especially Zala, she's not going to do it, because why would I come to you? You're not going to pay me. No, mate, that's more exciting over there. So the one time she's in danger and heading across a road, which she's never off lead, so that's not really going to happen, but let's just say hypothetically the lead snaps and she's bolting after a bird, which she doesn't do either, but we're all doing hypotheticals, straight across a lane of traffic. Now, if she knows I've got food, Zara come, boom, she's there for food. If I started to not use food, she'd go, huh? I can't hear you. Because that's what Zala does. So, give, I never not pay for give, because that could be a bait. That could be a rat that's been poisoned. That could be a bait that they've picked up. You need it out. You don't want them to panic and swallow it. You want them to spit it out real quick to get your treat or reward. I hate the word treat. And the other one with the emergency down is always heavily rewarded. because again, life-saving. The one time that I don't have anything to reward with. And if that does happen to you guys, if you're ever out there and you don't have a reward and you need to, you become the reward. You get that animated and playful and wah, cray, cray, cray. That's also the reward. So it's a very long-winded answer. It's dog dependent, it's person dependent, and it's task dependent to a degree. So hopefully that answers something.